Hi, Tanya Biglow here, and coming to you with daily words of affirmation. So, we're going to just kind of jump right in. So, today's word is rectify. And rectify means to put right or to correct. Rectify means to put right or correct. So, yesterday, we talked about onerous and having those challenging situations and uncomfortable situations. And what I realized yesterday is that we talked about what it is to be in a situation or to experience that situation. We talked about how we can get into onerous situations, but we really didn't talk about how we can get out of those situations or how to be in those situations. So I just thought, I think today's word rectify is befitting to kind of address the situation of what happens when we get into uncomfortable situations. How do we handle or avoid hardships or onerous situations? So, if you remember, yesterday we talked about three situations. One, where we didn't listen and we got into the situation. Two is where God just kind of put us in the situation for the lesson or for the example, right? And then three, we talked about those kind of situations that we birth from our actions or our inactions and things, right? So once we're in the situation, what could we do? Well, there are two ways that we can rectify the situation, or I guess there are two ways that we can handle the situation. One is with our attitude, right? When we look at our attitude when we're in these uncomfortable situations, we can choose to be annoyed, where we're just frustrated with what's going on, and just irritated with the situation. Or we could be floored, like, oh my God, just kind of like over the situation. But then we can also choose to be in a state of joy, right? We could be overjoyed about the situation. And some of you may say, well, if I'm in a situation that I really don't like, Tanya, why would I be overjoyed about that? But that's where the blessing comes, because in that attitude, whatever attitude we choose, that has a complete impact on the next way that we can address it, which is our actions, right? So if we have an attitude of annoyance, our action could be to just complain about it, talk about it, and just kind of just stay stuck in it. If we have an attitude of being floored about it, our action could just be telling other people about it, or have a state of continuing to recreate that situation because we're just too done with it, right? But if we can operate with a sense of overjoy and not happy because we're in something that's not comfortable, but happy in the action that we can take, because there are three things we can do when we're in that state. One, we can begin to get curious. Why am I in this situation? What did I do? How did I act? What were the course of events that happened to lead me to this situation? Now, another action you can take, I guess it's a position that you could take in it, is to develop confidence, right? Once you become curious and you know how you got to that situation or the course of events that led up to that situation, you can begin to operate with a sense of confidence, just knowing, okay, this is what I did to get here. Now, if it's an uncomfortable situation, you may want to look at those actions and then have a third action, which is a sign commitment. And when I talk about commitment, I talk about making sure that you commit to yourself not to repeat those situations or not to repeat those actions, so you don't have to find yourself in that onerous situation again. So so just to recap, we looked at two different things, or how to handle or avoid hardships. So one is our attitude, and two are the actions that we take. We can have an attitude of annoyance, of just being over it, or we can be overjoyed in the situation. And once we learn how to choose subconsciously what attitude we take, then that dictates our actions. We can either talk about it and stay in there and recreate more of the not so good situation that we want, or we could choose to take action by being curious, developing confidence, and then assigning commitment to what it is that we want to get out of. Like we can commit to getting out of that in our actions. I appreciate you listening, and remember to make sure that you have a great day on purpose. Bye bye for now.